What the fuck? It changed. Yeah. Hi, Mel. Yeah, it changed. The thing is supposed to frickin'... It's supposed to... Oops. Back in there. Don't fall down. There we go. It's so loose. Can you hear me now? 1, 2, 3. Checking. Should be able to now. Hello. Well, the beginning of this, I messed up, but it's all right. We're good. I'm here. Penny wouldn't come up and say hi, because Duke's right here, like literally right there. But he's not under the microphone this time because I turned it this way. So if he starts snoring, you shouldn't hear it. Not like last time. Hopefully you didn't hear Big Mouth back there, but I left the door open just in case to their room so that she could go back there and bark. I'm never going to live that down, am I, comics? I shouldn't have said that, especially since you're in here. Today was a day I busted out 2 classes. Okay, so I went back to school for... Hey, what are you doing? Sorry. So I went back to school, for IT. The plan is to... Unfortunately, I might have bitten off more than I can chew, but possibly not. I'm getting a 2-year associate's in 1 year. Ooh, buddy. So, there's that. And then, once I'm done with that, I'm hopefully going to be able to go for my bachelor's, which would be my second one. Because the first one, the guy got fired, but I still had to go for it. I still had to go for the stupid program, and it sucked. And that's at that school from the one that I shouted out last week, Delaware State University. You suck. Yeah, they still aren't releasing my transcripts. They say that the VA/me owes them money, but they have no receipts. They sent me, when I asked them today for all of the charges from when I went to school there, and all the pages, everything's there. There's no charge on there for anything. Nothing. So they expect the government and me to just take them at their word that there was a charge made after I graduated? Because you can't graduate if you've got a balance. And I graduated, so... Oh, yeah, it's pretty freaking stupid. Comics! Well, just so you know... Hey, Papa Shoot, how you doing? I am doing better now that I'm here. I feel better. And Callie has decided to go to the other end of the house and bark, so we're good. And yes, Mouth Mike, it's alive! Alright, so I've got one thing to talk about, and then we're going to watch a couple Struggle Jennings videos, because this subject, 40 billion with a B dollars to Ukraine. Billion. Yet there's a shortage of formula. People can't feed their babies. Yeah. I'm not happy. So, let's get into this. There it is. Queso cheese. Speaking of queso, where's Topper? Here's the first one. And it starts with what I
How
mentioned.
is this America?
We have been having to look pretty heavily for it, I would say, for the last 4 or 5 months, but this last month it's just become impossible to find.
Unfortunately for like me that I can't breastfeed my kids, I depend a lot on formula, or else my kid can't eat.
You would think it wouldn't be a problem to be able to feed your baby, but now it's really scary.
How is this
The first person said 3 to 4 months with an M. Months. On top of it, I couldn't track this down and I couldn't track it down to see if it was actually true that they're getting pallets of formula sent to an illegal alien camp somewhere in Texas. Yet our mothers can't buy formula for their babies, but they're sending pallets of it to Texas. I wasn't able to confirm that though, so yep, I'm pissed, but hey.
America? This is the United States of America. And as American mothers, like the ones you just heard from, they're struggling to feed their children. We're sending billions and billions and billions to Eastern Europe. In the last hour, the House passed a bill to send another $40 billion to Ukraine in military and humanitarian aid. Is this even popular with the American people?
No, it's not. And the fact that there were only 3 comics, I don't think so. I haven't been able to figure it out. The House passed it, but it's got to go to the Senate. So, no, it's not popular. But in the House, there were only look at the votes right there. There were only 57 nays and 149 yays from Republicans. So what rhinos were fucking voting yay for it? And why? Because no, it's not popular with the American people. Sure shit not popular.
In military and humanitarian aid. Is this even popular with the American people? Well, we took the streets to do our own little survey.
Oh, by the way, down at the bottom, West Virginia, that's not someone I'm related to that I know of. But if you look down at the bottom of you'll see it. The little ticker at the bottom says Dwyer down there. Not related that I know of.
People? Well, we took the streets to do our own little survey.
What the hell happened? Ay, ay, ay. Put this over there.
Babies are coming first. Why not take care of the children? That doesn't make any sense. I think the government needs to do more than that. They need to really think about America and put money on the side for our means first. Take care of ourselves, then we can take care of the rest of the world. I'm very sensitive to the people who are losing their lives. I'm very sensitive to the fact that people are dying unnecessarily. However, we have the same problems here in the United States.
He's exactly right. And comics, I'm going to have to go look for it because it must have happened. It must have happened while I was putting this all together and then realizing that, hey, you screwed up and it's not 40 million, it's 40 billion with a B. But yeah, so that must have happened when I was getting all of this. I mean, did it just happen? Oh, an hour ago? Okay, yeah, I was doing this. So I wasn't paying attention to anything but trying to get this done. Derp. But he did block it, so it didn't happen. Please tell me that it was blocked and didn't happen. I gotta wait for the chat. Because I gotta know. Comics. The chat's going slow. I'm just going to go with it and just going to continue. And if I see just let me know in the chat. Yes, DK, exactly. Take care of the U.S. first. That was why Donald Trump was so popular. America first. It's a no-brainer. If you can't help yourself, how in the crap are you going to help other people? Okay, can't confirm, but I'll go ahead. After this is done, I'm going to go ahead and look, because if that's the case, I'm very happy.
Thoroughly. However, we have the same problems here in the United States. I don't see any of these issues being addressed here in our own country. There's still homelessness here. There's still unemployment here.
Yeah, there's still unemployment because people don't want to work. You know how many... That's who I go through. Bongino. Dan Bongino is freaking epic. I love that guy. I've been following him for a while, and then when he went, and then he got all big, I was like, damn. And I luck out. Being same with Brandon Tatum. He's taking over for he's taking over for someone. I can't remember the names. I just know Brandon Tatum now has a radio show that he's going to be doing. Larry Elder. He's taking over for Larry Elder, I think. Larry Elder is retiring, and he's replacing Larry Elder. And that's freaking... So, Papa, let me... Yeah, Larry Elder. Papa, is the link... Can you put it in Discord so I can read it later? Because I need to figure out WTF. Let's get back to it.
It's being addressed here in our own country. There's still homelessness here. There's still unemployment here.
Inflation screwing every working class person, especially young people. What?
He was right. Gotta admit, his chains could use a little work. They need to be cleaned.
Screwing every working class person, especially young people.
What do you do if you can't find formula? My daughter breastfeeds, but if you can't find the formula, what do you give your new grandson? I don't know what the appropriate amount of money to send to Ukraine is, but I think we need to take care of business at home at the same time.
Yep. There was something... Excuse you! She's barking her full head off, but her tail is wagging like crazy. Why are you wagging your tail? You're supposed to be mad. Hey, that's enough. Hey, that's enough. Enough. Sorry. Hey! Stop. Dude, she does it again, kick her. He doesn't do that. Anyway. Really? There. Now she stopped. Let's just see for how long.
Ukraine is, but I think we need to take care of business at home at the same time.
It's a lot going on in America, so it's like, why are we worried about overseas? And that's all I gotta say on that one.
Joining me now is Jim Jordan, ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee, who voted against this massive appropriation. Congressman, do your fellow lawmakers realize that to the average American who is freaking out right now about issues like baby formula?
DK, I have to agree. A lot of people, not all people, but a lot of people got too comfortable sponging up the extra unemployment and all the extra crap that Sleepy Joe did, that now they just expect everyone else. They just expect everyone else to provide for them. And I don't get it. I don't, because the pandemic money's been gone. So why are people still not working? Excuse you. Oi. Whew. Anyway, I just... Auntie... Glad you're here, man. Let's get back a smidge so we can do this again.
Do your fellow lawmakers realize that to the average American who is freaking out right now about issues like baby formula, that they're not in sync with what they would like Congress to be doing right now?
Well, I think that what the man on the street, and you folks you were talking to, they get it. I mean, think about your typical family out there. We got a 41-year high inflation rate. Everything costs more for the moms and dads and families across.
Look at that.
Rent costs more, gas costs more, clothes.
I needed to back up, but that's fucking pathetic. This is the United States of America. We don't do shit like this. I am so sick of this lying, disgusting, freaking administration and all of the liars in Congress and the Senate. All of the liars everywhere. Hey, you all right? Easy, buddy. Hey, what are you doing? Relax. He stood up because I started getting pissed. It's all right. It's all right. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Relax. I used to have two. Now I just have Duke. Annie Band, you are not the only one that's pissed off about this. It's bullshit, and it's why I wanted to talk about it today, because everybody else is doing things that are, happening right now. I'm looking at, because I didn't think that they were going to go through and get it done today. I thought it was going to be like tomorrow or the next day. But if they stopped it, thank God.
Costs more for the moms and dads and families across. Rent costs more, gas costs more, clothes cost more, food
we know
costs
that.
more. If you got a newborn,
what's Congress doing?
If you got a newborn.
Well, what's Congress doing? You guys are sending $40 billion over to Ukraine. I mean, it's a horrible situation what is happening in Ukraine. American weakness helped create that.
I understand.
And Europe helped. But this is if you thought the Ukraine money dump, people think it was a Democrat-led initiative, Congressman. Everyone has to think again. Watch this.
I think we all agree the most important thing going on.
I can't stand him. Rhino. Big time.
I think we all agree the most important thing going on in the world right now is the war in Ukraine.
No, the most important thing in the world right now is the fact that we have a weak shell of an individual sitting in the White House. I'll stop.
The most important thing going on in the world right now is the war in Ukraine.
Amen, dude.
I had a chance to call the president last week and request that the Ukraine package move by itself.
Now, he did one thing that was right. They did not want... I am comics! Oh my gosh, I am not repeating that. But yes, Mitch McConnell is a blank waffle. I agree. I don't know why, I just don't like that word. That one and the C word. But, you too? You too, Callie? Oi. Anyway, she totally blew me off whatever train tracks I was on with that, so.
And quickly.
Oh, yes. They didn't tie it to COVID relief. Why we still need COVID relief, I don't know. But, and we won't even go into that. That's a whole nother freaking kettle of fish. We ain't gonna, But, that is such an epic freaking pause right there. He looks like his usual self.
Ukraine package move by itself and quickly.
Congressman, meanwhile, we still have an open border, gang wars on our streets, homelessness 2 blocks from where we're doing the show now.
Look, Laura, I understand people's intentions. I understand how bad the situation is for the Ukraine.
Now, I actually like Jim Jordan. I do. However, Can't repeat that. Can't repeat that, comics. You guys, am I still here? Okay. Thank you, Papa. I'm going to go check that out after this. Dude. What are you doing way over there? Oh, okay, old man. All right. I like this guy, but I want to hear what he has to say.
Look, Laura, I understand people's intentions. I understand how bad the situation is for the Ukrainian people, what they're going through, and why some of my colleagues may have went that way. But I also understand what's happening here in this country with record levels of crime, a border that's wide open, attorney general who treats the very moms and dads you were talking to as if they were domestic terrorists. And what have the Democrats done in the last 2 weeks? Last week, they give us the Disinformation Governance Board and come after our First Amendment liberties. And this week, they spend $40 billion on a foreign.
This is... I was worried because it came up because I wanted to see a real-time chat, so I glanced over, and it said that there was a server error, and I was like, oh, hell no. But I just... I can't stand this garbage. I really can't. And the fact that we're all sitting here and we can't do anything because we elected these motherfuckers and they're fucking up. Frowning up. Oh, I don't have to worry about that. My kids aren't here. Grandsons aren't listening. At least I don't think so. They haven't said anything. I just don't. I feel so useless. I can't do anything about any of this because of the state, the Democratic state that I live in. My vote doesn't count for shit because they not only are Democrat here, but they also did the whole popular vote thing where whoever wins the popular vote, the votes from this state go to that person. I didn't vote for that.
They were domestic terrorists. And what have the Democrats done in the last 2 weeks? Last week, they give us the Disinformation Governance Board and come after our First Amendment liberties. And this week, they...
Exactly, Annie Ban. We do need to be more careful about who we elect. But the people that are careful, comics, that's a whole nother can of worms you're opening right there. Convention of States. They're actually still working on it. They're still working on that whole of Convention of States, from what I understand. But we do need to be more careful about who we vote for. But if only a small minority of the country pays attention and is careful, it's still not going to do anything because the majority of the country is...
spend $40 billion on a foreign country. So that's the concern that I have, and I think so many Americans have. I voted for all kinds of help for Ukraine thus far, but this bill, we said, no, look, we got to focus on the issues that count here in America, that matter to American families, and also help Ukraine, but do it in a way that makes more sense than I think this piece of legislation did, particularly with the fact that we only had a few hours to look at it for good.
That's right. They did it again. They only had a couple hours to read all of the pages of this thing. And they keep doing that shit. And there should be something that says that you put something out there, you cannot vote on it for at least 24 hours so that people can read it. You can't just put it out there and then, oh, we got to hurry up and take a vote. No, you can't do that. That can't be done anymore because there's too much shit slipping through. And all this garbage. Ugh. All of this shit that's slipping through because of the way that shit works over there.
America, that matter to American families, and also help Ukraine, but do it in a way that makes more sense than I think this piece of legislation did. Particularly with the fact that we only had a few hours to look at it, for goodness sake.
It is insane.
Is another reason we should have been against it.
It is insane. And at the same time, we're taking the tariffs off of the Chinese goods coming into the country.
Don't even get me started on that. Hey, there's a spider on the ceiling. Great. Don't move, okay? Just stay there. I hate spiders. Yeah, taking tariffs off of China. That's smart.
This is insane. And at the same time, we're taking the tariffs off of the Chinese goods coming into the country, which means we're helping the country that's giving money to Russia by dumping the tariffs, Trump's tariffs. So figure out how that makes any sense.
That's why we need President Trump back. I mean, all the good things he did, we would not be...
All the things he did, they are undoing out of spite. They're not even doing this for any supposed reasons. They're doing it out of spite because they're little freaking children that want to stomp their feet and get their way. This is bullshit. Just saying.
Trump back. That's why we need President Trump back. I mean, all the good things he did, we would not be in this situation if President Trump were still in the office, in the Oval Office, and I think all your viewers know that.
Well, Congressman, great to see you tonight. Thank you so much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey.
Damn right. I just... Now, you can just imagine what Tucker's going to say. But let's talk about that for just a second. Go back to that, how they put shit out there. They don't give anybody enough time to read it. And then they just jam it through. There has to be something put in place so that that cannot happen. That will stop a lot of the bullshit that's getting through there. It might slow everything up, but guess what? Kind of have to now because people aren't. If people are given, now this is a generalization, if people are given an inch, they're going to take and take until they got the whole mile, and then they're going to keep on going until someone kicks them in the teeth. We need to do something about how fucked up this government is. It probably started out wonderfully for the first little bit, and then the corruption started sliding in, and then you've got everybody's on the take now. Almost everybody. There's a lot of veterans now that are going into public office that I like, but there's some of them that are kind of wishy-washy. Some that I liked before and then did something I didn't like and made me look at them differently. I wish I could just sit down and talk with Dan Crenshaw to figure out how his mind works. I still like him, but the red flag laws, that's what got me. But anyway, let's get
Tonight, there is nothing in the world worse than finding out that your deepest fears are justified. That's the nightmare scenario, learning there really is a zombie in the closet.
I Am Comics, exactly right. And I think that's why they did it. That's exactly why they did it. For that exact reason. Because they need another way to shut you up. Because Colin or Peppermint Patty didn't do shit. That's honestly an insult to Peppermint Patty, in my opinion. But once we call, because we're not going to be the only ones calling the new press secretary a liar, we're going to be called racist because of that. Anybody that calls her a liar is going to be called a racist. And it was by design. But Andy Band just said it. Just typed it as I said it. Is by design. They're doing it on purpose. Anything they can do to shut people up, they're gonna do it.
Closet. Let's say you're a kid and you've convinced yourself that your parents don't really love you. They claim they do. They say it all the time, usually without looking up from their iPhones. But you can tell they don't really mean it. They don't seem...
This is bad. I had to watch some, the videos. I had to watch, see, make sure they were on topic. I try not to just willy-nilly, There's some people that kind of willy-nilly out there, but not me.
Say it all the time, usually without looking up from their iPhones.
Looking up from their phones.
But you can tell they don't really mean it. They don't seem sincere. And then one Christmas morning confirmation, you discover they've forgotten to buy you presents, any presents. They were busy and it just slipped their mind.
Now, I mean, this is just a This is just any band. If you speak out in any way, you're just a platitude. What do you mean? You mean like you're just a token voice that's like whatever kind of thing? Because platitudes are empty. Yeah, I guess that's what you mean. I think I got it. But let's go back to the Christmas.
Instead, they've spent all their time and all their money buying gifts for a kid down the street. So all the things that you asked for, they gave to another 9-year-old you have never met. How'd that make you feel?
Comics. Ah. Willy-nilly, nilly-willy. Meh. But that'd piss me off if my parents went and bought presents for somebody down the street and didn't buy me anything. But we're not going to go into the whole, oh, that's capitalist and all that other garbage that are the buzzwords that people use.
Asked for, they gave to another 9-year-old you have never met. How'd that make you feel? Well, you'd be crushed. But
oh, wait, how'd that make you feel? Did you like that little taste of socialism?
But you would also be vindicated. You would know for a dead certain fact that your parents really didn't love you. They're not even very interested in you. That's how a lot of Americans felt last night watching the House of Representatives approve yet another massive aid package for Ukraine. Nothing against Ukraine, but we could probably use that money here right about now.
If he could have said anything else more no-brainer. Okay, so this right here, what they're doing with this whole aid package is what I equate it to a giant version of what all of the woke lefties and whoever, all the woke crowd out there going for Black Lives Matter and all this and that, but they're white and virtue signaling. This is a giant version of virtue signaling by the United States government, not by us, by the government. And that's bullshit. It's bullshit when freaking people do it in front of me. It's bullshit. And I call them on it. Unless they're bigger than me. And then I just whisper it. But come on. Really?
Ukraine. Nothing against Ukraine, but we could probably use that money here right about now. After 100 years of virtually uninterrupted wealth generation, the American economy appears to be faltering in ways that are scary to anyone who's paying attention. Mm-hmm. Even people who aren't paying attention can sense there's something really wrong.
Yeah. Not for nothing, but the majority of the country are, I'm gonna guess here that more than half of the country is not paying attention. And the part that is can't do anything about this.
Who's paying attention. Even people who aren't paying attention can sense there's something really wrong. Lots of people are not working. Those who are working are getting poor quickly thanks to inflation. All of a sudden, everything is wildly more expensive. Have you noticed?
Have we noticed? Yeah. I'm pretty sure everybody, no matter where they stand, went a little New England there for a second, no matter where they stand, can tell and notice, hey, look how much gas is. Look how much freaking, you can't, all right, example, I'm lucky. My washer and dryer are still good. Knowing my luck, I'm going to knock on wood here. Shit, that was just me. Don't bark. That now it's going to turn around and probably shit the bed on me. But you can't get big stuff anymore. You can't get refrigerators, washers and dryers and all kinds of stuff like that. Even the big stuff is taking time to get here.
To inflation, all of a sudden everything is wildly more expensive. Have you noticed? We literally have a shortage of baby formula right now. Did you think that would happen in America ever? And yet it is happening. And so is the deadliest drug epidemic in our history.
Oy.
About 107,000 of your fellow Americans, most of them young people who should have had long, productive lives, are instead dead.
Because of fentanyl. Now, where they're saying it's coming from, they're saying it's coming from China. It's coming from Mexico. Who knows where it's coming from? It's just coming through that freaking non-existent border. And I'm not... Sorry. I hate when that happens. I'm not bashing in any way, shape, or form Customs and Border Patrol because they are overwhelmed and they're dying. They're getting killed down there because jackasses in Mexico are shooting across the border. They're shooting across the border at our CBP guys.
Most of them young people who should have had long, productive lives are instead dead. They have died from drug ODs over the past year. This is the saddest thing that has happened in our country in a very long time. And yet Congress, which claims to run the country, can't be bothered even to acknowledge it, much less...
And they can't. I'm sorry I'm pausing so much, but... Thanks, Cal. I'm sorry I'm pausing so much, but I keep getting copyright claimed. Okay, Auntie.
Let's do anything about it. Instead, your representatives in Washington just voted to send yet another $40 billion to the Ukrainian oligarchs who paid off the president's son.
Now, there is a pretty obvious thing going on here. You know, Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, Ukraine, sending money, all that garbage happening again. The last time, and I remember seeing this motherfucker say it on screen, that the person, it was an attorney that was investigating, needed to be fired, or Ukraine wouldn't get the arms and money. That was Joe Biden.
That's what happened. And it's just the latest check that Congress has cut them.
He was proud of that. Moron.
President's son. That's what happened. And it's just the latest check that Congress has cut them. You can add it to the approximately $14 billion they've already spent on Ukraine. That brings the total as of tonight to more than $54 billion.
That's fucking insane. And Papa, I get you. They wanted to put a fentanyl patch for your back? Oh yeah, hell no, not a chance indeed. When I was in the hospital this past time with what I thought was an MS flare-up, it turned out to be COVID. Again, I digress. They tried to do the same thing, give me fentanyl, and I was like, oh hell no. And they were like, why? As if, hello, do you not live in the United States? Do you not watch what's going on around you? You're in a hospital. I can't imagine. And on top of it, nope, it wasn't the emergency room. It was after that. It was once I was up in a room. But still, how can they not see? So yeah, I said no as well, Papa, and I'm glad we did.
How much is that? Well, for perspective, it is more than we spent per year on average on the war in Afghanistan, a war that began with a direct attack on the United States. $54 billion. That's about as much as Russia, the country, spends on its entire armed forces over the course of a full year. It is a ludicrous amount. And yet...
He's exactly right. It's insane. We've got Looney Tunes in the White House and in Senate and in Congress and everywhere in the government. Looney Tunes. We need to just flush it and reboot. Just saying. I know it'd probably cause a lot of problems, but considering the problems we have now, a few short-term problems, or maybe not short-term, but a few problems to get things fixed, in my opinion, is a lot better than just letting the problems build up and letting the stupid people send more money where it shouldn't be going.
Over the course of a full year. It is a ludicrous amount. And yet Congress happily approved it. In fact, they allocated $7 billion more than Joe Biden asked for. That's how excited they were to do it. So where's this money going? Oh, that's the best part.
Where is it going?
Congress has decided to fix all of the pressing problems that need to be fixed, except fix them in Ukraine, not here. So the main course of all of this funding from day one has been to secure Ukraine's borders.
Oh, but wait! Oh, wait. They're not going to secure the borders because the Democrats need more voters because they're so freaking retarded doing this shit that they need more people to come in. And you know what would really kick ass is if those people that come in all vote Republican. It would be frigging epic.
Because, you can't have a country without borders. They have to be secure. Nancy Pelosi strongly believes that about Ukraine, and so do her friends on the Republican side. So Ukrainian border security is the main goal. Then there's the problem of, quote, food insecurity. Not here, in Ukraine.
Food insecurity. There is actually food insecurity happening here. Right now. I go over to get stuff. I haven't gone grocery shopping yet because I really don't want to. But the empty shelves, the ramen, however you say it, however you want to say it, I don't care. It's fake shit anyway. But the ramen noodles, I'm on that. I'm at that right now where I'm doing ramen noodles and soup. I dump some of the fluid out of the soup, put it in the ramen noodles, and that's my dinner or lunch. It's not bad. I don't put the packs in because that's too much salt, but I digress. It's just there are people that aren't able to get food because there's nothing on the shelves. When I was in the military, first, I don't know, what was it? First full year, I was on the ramen noodles and peanut butter sandwiches. It worked though. I was a lot younger then though.
Her friends on the Republican side. So Ukrainian border security is the main goal. Then there's the problem of, quote, food insecurity. Not here, in Ukraine. Food's getting expensive in Ukraine. So we're going to spend $760 million to fix that, just in this check.
Comics? You damn right. You are absolutely right. We've got lots of good folks in Florida that could take the reins in D.C. D.C.'s not even a state, so we should just rip it out by the roots and just throw it.
And not just in Ukraine. Congress was feeling kind of sporty. Also added 100.
Where the hell did you get so many? Now I know why there's nothing on the friggin' shelves. You bought them all.
$150 million for something called the Global Agriculture and Food Security Program, because while we're feeding Ukraine, why not feed the rest of the world? We've got more food than we can use. And of course, that will obviously include baby formula too, because kids in other countries need to eat.
Yeah, but what about our kids? My grandsons are good. I checked last week. I check regularly. And I made sure, tell me if not, so I can take care of it. But wait a minute, what? DK. So DK says they're making toy dolls that use real baby formula also? And people are buying formula that could be used for real babies for a fucking toy? That can't. DK. Message me a link to that so I can go and look at that, because that is pure freaking stupidity on a level that I didn't even know existed. I just, that's just mind blown. I need to know if that's freaking good idea, Papa. I need to know if that's true, because if so, whoever did that and invented that doll needs to be strung up, drawn, and quartered.
And of course, that will obviously include baby formula too, because kids in other countries need to eat. Then there's another huge chunk of cash to, quote, combat human trafficking. Now, not combat human trafficking in Texas, where it is now ubiquitous thanks to the open borders.
Yeah. And on that note, there was something here in the... Oh, my allergies. Yikes. There was something here in this city that there were massage parlors that were trafficking people. And that was right here in the city I live in. I couldn't believe that when I read that. That it's that pervasive that it could be happening anywhere. And people just don't think. They just go along, don't look. If you don't look, you don't see it, it's not happening. I tried doing that when I was a kid, pulling the sheets over my head, but I was a kid. Come on, people.
Human trafficking. Now, not combat human trafficking in Texas, where it is now ubiquitous thanks to the open borders with Mexico, but to combat...
Comics, if you identify as a trans-blood Latinx man, I don't even know. I just don't even know how your brain came up with that. But it is an idea, because Anti-Ban said something like that, similar last week. That was it Anti-Ban that said that, or was it Topper that was that if they identified as a pregnant woman, could they get a WIC? Who was it that said that? I gotta go back and look, but that's too funny.
Human trafficking in Ukraine.
You guys are awesome.
Because it's sad what's happening there, but not here. That's not sad. We're ignoring it. There's still more money to make sure Ukrainians have emergency shelter, because apparently more than 1 million Americans aren't homeless tonight. There's $900 million to make sure Ukrainians have access to, quote, entitlement programs.
Yeah. What? You got room? You can come lay here. We're working here. Well, I'm working. You're just looking cute. A note: if you see me wink my eye, that's because if your pet ever winks at you, always wink back in case it's a code for something. Hello. You gonna lay down? Ah, shoot! Didn't bring any water in here. Shut.
Tonight. There's $900 million to make sure Ukrainians have access to, quote, entitlement programs, our entitlement programs. They'll need them when they arrive here, as many will. In other words, you can't afford to fill your truck, but you now get to pay the living expenses of anyone who shows up in your country claiming to be from Ukraine, and you will. And then, because paying off your friends is always the real point.
Anti-band? Damn, son, I need some of that. I'm kidding. I'm glad you guys are set for food. I am. I'm set for food for the dogs. I don't know about myself, but not a big deal.
Of these exercises in Washington, there are billions more dollars for Lloyd Austin's former employers in the weapons business. That would include $72 million for something the bill describes as, quote, research, development, test, and evaluation in Ukraine. Now, don't say biolabs, because that's not allowed, but honestly...
Indeed. Don't say biolabs. God willing, no biolabs. People can't be that fucking... So, yeah, they are that fucking stupid.
In Ukraine. Now, don't say biolabs, because that's not allowed, but honestly, this is weird. Ukraine is a war zone, and therefore probably not a great place for scientific research right now, but whatever. We're funding some kind of science experiments in Ukraine. No more questions from you. And the bill goes on like this, and on and on.
Comics, same. I actually have a bachelor's degree in agronomy, which is useless to me because I couldn't get a job with the USDA. That's another story, but we won't go into that.
No more questions from you. And the bill goes on like this, and on and on. As Congressman Thomas Massie has pointed out, Congress has now spent more money on Ukraine in 6 months than the U.S. government spent on all roads and all bridges in the United States over all of last year.
All of last year. Is this more? Could this be any more obvious as to where priorities are with these jackasses in Washington and everywhere else? Priorities, people. America first. That is why I voted for Trump. Not because it was Trump, not because of anything else, but because he put America first and he stuck with it. And he's still sticking with it. He's only got 2 people that he's backing that I don't agree with, and one of them's Mehmet Oz. That guy's a joke.
The $40 billion we're sending to Ukraine so they can secure their borders, by the way, is more than double what Joe Biden has asked to fund customs and border security in the United States. One bill, more than double what we're spending this year on our borders.
It boggles the mind that it has gotten this stupid up there. Well, they're over there. But still. How are these... Okay. How are these freaking idiots getting away with this shit? And why have they been able to get away with it for decades? Just gonna drop a little note in there for term limits. Okay, thanks.
One bill, more than double what we're spending this year on our borders. And then in the middle of this historic drug emergency, and it is, the bill spends more than 10 times the entire budget of the DEA. More than 10 times. Just in case you're wondering how your leaders feel about you. They're not...
More than 10 times? Now, I watch Tucker Carlson because they do their research and they don't pull punches. They put it out there as it is. And sorry. They do their research and I basically do my research on top of theirs. Of course, I'm doing research a couple days and I don't know how long they do theirs, but this is maddening. It's comics. I like that. Put it back the way you found it plan. I like that. That is awesome. Yeah, I think so, comics. Ukraine is the recipients of the Build Back Better plan. Too bad for them.
More than 10 times. Just in case you're wondering how your leaders feel about you. They're not fans at all. And now we know for sure. You should know that every single Democrat in the House of Representatives voted for this bill. That would include even Barbara Lee of Berkeley. Now, if you remember her name, it may be because in 2001, Barbara Lee of Berkeley was the only member of Congress to oppose the war against the Taliban. But a war in Ukraine is a war that Barbara Lee can support. Why?
Why? And who is this person? Make her go away. Replace her with someone that has a brain.
Taliban. But a war in Ukraine is a war that Barbara Lee can support. Why? Because there's no potential chance that war could help the United States. Here's her reasoning.
This war is not only about Ukraine. This war is about the rest of the world and Putin trying to establish top.
Spit it out! Spit it out! God! Needs to go.
World and Putin trying to establish autocratic governments throughout the world. And we know that this is taking place through disinformation campaigns.
Yeah, disinformation campaigns here. We won't even go into the Ministry of Truth. Let's not touch that one. That's...
throughout the world. And we know that this is taking place through disinformation campaigns, through all kinds of misinformation that's taking place.
Oh, so it's not really about Ukraine. It's about something bigger than Ukraine. Thanks, Barbara Lee, for being dim enough to tell us that, to say it out loud. This is a war on disinformation, which at some point in some way is dead certain to be a war on you.
Like it already is a war on us. It has been. It just continues and it gets worse and worse.
At some point in some way is dead certain to be a war on you. No question about it, because you're a font of disinformation, meaning you disagree. But we know for certain that wars against things you can't really identify, against people who don't exist.
Facts.
Against things you can't really identify, against people who don't exist. Wars against concepts. One thing we know about those wars, like the war on terror.
Hi, Queenie. I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you traveled safe. You made it back safe, I should say. You're crazy traveling. Yeesh.
People who don't exist. Wars against concepts. One thing we know about those wars, like the war on terror, is they last forever. So it was a little weird to see Tim Ryan of Ohio vote for this. Tim Ryan was supposed to be a working man's Democrat, a guy who cares about bread and butter issues.
Yeah, right.
Working man's Democrat.
Pardon me.
A guy who cares about bread and butter issues. Tim Ryan represents Youngstown in Akron. Take a look at Akron sometime. It's like a war zone itself. These are the cities that built America, crumbling and desperate now from total neglect.
This is happening all over our country, and nobody is doing anything about it. There are some, well, I can't say nobody, but the people that are trying to do something about it, there just aren't enough of them. Thank you, comics. Thank you. He said, bless you. He's so nice. There's people that do this thing on YouTube. I'm taking a rabbit trail, but it pertains to this. And what they do is they go out and mow lawns and use what they get from their Patreons and their members on their channels and go and help out someone in need. Or they go and cut a place that the grass is way overgrown and just make a video about it. And it's one of those, what is that, ASMR things that I actually watch a couple of them because I like transformations. But I digress. Oh, no, there was one thing. Lawn Care Juggernaut. He had one recently that he was cutting that was... Really, dude? He had one recently that he was cutting that there was a dead body in the house. Unbelievable.
These are the cities that built America, crumbling and desperate now from total neglect. But don't you worry. Tim Ryan is totally committed to rebuilding Kiev. And so is Nancy Pelosi. For Pelosi, funding Ukraine at any...
Look at that frigging face. Who does this woman's eyebrows? She looks perpetually surprised. It's probably also because of whatever work she's had done. But seriously, this one is one of the worst. This one right here needs to go. She needs to go decades ago. Gotta go.
In Kiev. And so is Nancy Pelosi. For Pelosi, funding Ukraine at any cost is more than a foreign policy objective. It's a kind of religious observance.
The brutality of Putin is not just what he's doing in Ukraine, but the impact that it is having on food for the world. So when you're home thinking, what is this all about? Just think about when I was hungry.
Whatever. I don't think you've ever been hungry.
You fed me in the Gospel of Matthew.
Oh, so Jesus wants to send more missiles to Ukraine.
Yeah.
And the more missiles we send to Ukraine...
See, when it suits her, she's all God and Jesus. When it suits her.
Jesus wants to send more missiles to Ukraine. And the more missiles we send to Ukraine, the less hungry people are going to be. Wait a second. Wouldn't Jesus want to do everything possible to bring an end to the war in Ukraine? You religious little twit. How dare you quote that?
I forgot he said that. Let's hear that again. I'm sorry. Comics, you got me. Oh, Papa, I remember that with the freaking stupid thing with their freaking giant fridges and that freezers and the ice cream, whatever. And her getting her hair cut and on camera and all of that and ruining that woman's life. Yeah. But comics, you threw me off that you tried that once with cutting this lady's lawn, and when you went to the house to get paid, the lady told you she was your wife and to go to hell. You totally threw me off the rails with that. I was just like, whoa. Totally. Then I caught it.
Second, wouldn't Jesus want to do everything possible to bring an end to the war in Ukraine? You religious little twit. How dare you quote that book?
Wait, I gotta hear that again.
Wouldn't Jesus want to do everything possible to bring an end to the war in Ukraine? You religious little twit. How dare you quote that book? By the way...
Well said, Tucker! Well said! Damn well said!
There was a time when Nancy Pelosi didn't want to spend billions of dollars to secure a country's border. She said it was wasteful and morally wrong. It wasn't that long ago, by the way. It was April of 2017. See if you notice the difference. She's for spending billions at borders now. She was opposed to it then. What changed? Watch.
The wall is, in my view, immoral, expensive, unwise. And when the president says, well, I promised a wall during my campaign, I don't think he said he was going to pass billions of dollars of cost of the wall onto the taxpayer.
That woman, oh, I've never disliked anyone I've never met as much as I dislike that. Just, wow.
Oh, did you catch that? Border security in the United States is immoral. But Jesus is strongly for border security in Ukraine and abortion, by the way.
Hi, Shauna.
It's a sacrament. As usual, Democrats, as ludicrous as this may sound, are united on this point. They stand as one. But also, as usual, a stained propaganda campaign in the American media has managed to divide the Republican Party.
Can you, I mean, what? DK, bite your tongue. Not even in jest should you say that. I'm not repeating it either because it's bad. Bad juju. Ooh.
Propaganda campaign in the American media has managed to divide the Republican Party. Now, why does this happen every single time? Here's why. Because Republican office holders, no matter how conservative they tell you they are, believe the New York Times. They care deeply what legacy media say. They read the New York Times every day. They don't want to be criticized by the New York Times. And that's how the left controls them. Every single time.
Fucking spider moved. Just saying.
Criticized by the New York Times. And that's how the left controls them. Every single time. If you don't believe it, think back the last 2 years. You saw the same dynamic in the early days with both the BLM riots and the COVID lockdown.
Oh, don't even. With the BLM bullshit.
Nancy Pelosi was out there first, taking the most extreme possible position. And then a lot of Republican leaders agreed with her. Do you remember that? 2 years ago this month, Nikki Haley, former governor of South Carolina, running for president, she's conservative. She told Americans in the first days of the riots that they deserved to suffer after George Floyd died.
I didn't remember her saying that, but now that he brings it up, imagine that.
Americans in the first days of the riots that they deserved to suffer after George Floyd died. Quote, "In order to heal, it needs to be personal and painful for everyone," she wrote.
Hi, Shauna. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Queenie, for spreading the word. I appreciate it. This woman, I forgot. I forgot about that. That she said that. I forgot all about it. Well, goes to show how important she is.
"In order to heal, it needs to be personal and painful for everyone," she wrote. And in the end, it was personal and painful. A lot of people died. And that was good.
Hey, Wolf.
Because your racism killed George Floyd. That was Nikki Haley's first reaction. She read it in the New York Times, and she believed that they all do. So it shouldn't shock you that Nikki Haley's first reaction to the Russia invasion...
Comics! Don't insult Crypt Keeper like that. I like the Crypt Keeper.
And Mitch McConnell's first reaction, too, and the first reaction of so many other Republican leaders was that protecting Ukraine is way more important than protecting you, than protecting America. And Mitch McConnell hasn't, to his credit, moved from that. He still thinks it. Here he was yesterday.
I think we all agree the most important thing going on in the world right now is the war in Ukraine. I had a chance to call the president last week and request that the Ukraine package move by itself.
That is the same thing. This little clip was in the previous video. At least they didn't fuck up completely and tie it to COVID relief. So he didn't totally screw the pooch. But, yeah.
And quickly. He said, let me think it over. He called back in about 15 minutes and agreed that we need to do this Ukraine only and quickly. I think we're on the path to getting that done.
Chat is cracking me up.
Ukraine only and quickly. I think we're on the path to getting that done.
You gotta hope that there's some sincere billionaire out there who's going to fund a primary challenge against every single one of those Republican senators standing behind Mitch McConnell. As he said, and we'll quote again, "I think we all agree the most important thing going on in the world right now is the war in Ukraine." No. The most important thing going on in the world right now is the state of your country, the one you're supposed to run, the people you're supposed to represent, whose lives...
And they
state of your country, the one you're supposed to run, the people you're supposed to represent, whose lives you're supposed to care about, the ones who can't buy food or gas, the people ODing on fentanyl. 107,000 in a year dead young people, Americans. But that's nothing compared to Ukraine. We all agree Ukraine is the most important thing. Really, if you agree with that, you should not be sitting in the United States Senate as a Republican.
Exactly. You shouldn't even be sitting in the United States. Go help them. There's actually people that have gone over there to help them. Veterans. I won't get on that, but seriously, if you hate this country, leave. And those rhinos, especially that freaking... What'd you say he was? A boner? Yeah. A walking boner. Nah. Flaccid.
And yet that's their position. Of course, it's Lindsey Graham's position, just to give you yet another example.
Another one.
that if Putin's still standing after all this, then the world's going to be a very dark place. China's going to get the wrong signal, and we'll have a mess on our hands in Europe for decades to come. So let's take out Putin by helping Ukraine.
All right, so you're saying that that's how this ends, that Putin is removed? Is there any way...
There's no off-ramp.
There is no off-ramp.
No off-ramp.
Let's take out Putin.
That picture right there looks like a trans man. Just saying. But he is full of shit.
There's no off-ramp.
There is no off-ramp.
No off-ramp.
Let's take out Putin. It's weird to see a guy live out his strange little fantasy life on TV live. Lindsey Graham won't come on this show. He's afraid. We could spend the next hour playing clips of Lindsey Graham going back 20 years making predictions that didn't come true and resulted only in the death of American servicemen and the impoverishment of the United States. He's gotten it wrong every single time, and he's still out there.
He's still out there. Make it go away. And y'all, you guys, be nice to Shauna, because you're going to freaking scare her away. I need people to subscribe. Don't scare them away, please.
Let's just take out Putin. Really, what would happen then? The country has 6,000 nuclear weapons. Would they be unsecured? You thought we had a mess on our hands when Saddam's arsenals fell into the hands of lunatics and extremists? What would happen to those 6,000 nuclear weapons if we just take out Putin? They don't even think about it. They don't care. They're high on their own supply. Dan Crenshaw of Texas, for example, not a stupid guy, just announced that we're, quote, investing in the destruction of our adversary's military when we spend $40 billion on Ukraine. Investing in the destruction of our adversary's military. Since when did we declare war on Russia?
Something else. I liked him. I did.
Investing in the destruction of our adversary's military. Since when did we declare war on Russia? Did anybody vote for that? Our adversary's military? That's what you do in war. Since when are we fighting Russia? Well, since Putin stole the election from Hillary Clinton. Glad to see that Dan Crenshaw has signed up for this new campaign. But you got to wonder at what cost? Not just the peril, the real peril that this could escalate into something crushing for the West, but what immediate cost to the United States and our own ability to defend ourselves? All these people who love the military, do they ever ask that question? Right now, Joe Biden and the U.S. Congress have sent so much military aid to Ukraine that our country, the United States, is running out of weapons.
Can you imagine how... Well, there's two reasons. They're sending over so much, but they left so much shit over in Afghanistan. That's why we're short. Fucking idiots. I just... You guys are goofballs.
According to Bloomberg, quote, Pentagon officials say that Kiev is blowing through a week's worth of deliveries of anti-tank munitions every day. It's also running short of usable aircraft as Russian airstrikes and combat losses take their toll. Ammunition has become scarce in Mariupol.
Ammunition is scarce here! Fuck.
And other areas in Ukraine. This is presenting Western countries with a stark choice between pouring more supplies into Ukraine or husbanding finite capabilities they may need for their own defense. That's the line. They may need for their own defense. It's a scary world, and if you blow it all on Ukraine with finite resources, which we have, sorry, where does that leave you? Undefended. Now this is
It's exactly where it leaves everyone. And I just wanted to point something out on this screen right here. Tucker's face. Husbanding finite capabilities. Who writes like that? Other than these people. I mean, come on. At least get off your little high horse and write for the people. You want it to be readable, not hoity-toity bullshit like that. Just saying.
have, sorry. Where does that leave you? Undefended. Now, this is happening because senior leaders of the Republican Party instantly bought the New York Times position on Ukraine, as they instantly bought the New York Times position on the BLM riots, as they instantly bought the position of the New York Times.
The fucking spider moved again, you guys. Would you stay still? I'll squish you later. Fucking spider moved. Like maybe this much. Bastard.
On the COVID lockdowns. They didn't question what they read. And the consequence is now we are short on weapons to defend our own country. Now, no Democrat ever goes against his own herd, ever. The first reaction of every Democrat is always to read whatever talking points Nancy Pelosi provides. They never listen to the other side.
Nope. And that crone needs to go. Oh, that's an insult to crones. But, meh.
They always go farther in one direction. And the Republican Party is always led by people who join them. Here, for example, is how Congressman Jamie Raskin of Maryland responded when Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia.
You guys, this is serious shit, and you're making me laugh. But, Wolf, that was fucking great. Sounds like language used during one of your divorces. Husbanding, finite. You're terrible. And hilarious.
Congressman Jamie Raskin of Maryland responded when Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia raised an objection with the bill. Wait, what about our country, she said. Here's what he said back.
$40 billion. But there's no baby formula for American mothers and babies. An unknown amount of money to the CIA in the Ukraine supplemental bill, but there's no formula for American babies and mothers. We should be paying attention to our country right now. I yield back. Thank you.
Gentlelady yields back. The gentlewoman from Minnesota reserved. Gentleman from Maryland is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Here's a formula for the destruction of democracy: repeating Putin's propaganda and disinformation and appeasing imperialist assaults on sovereign nations.
That guy. He even, look at the face. He even looks slimy. And everything he just said, complete bullshit.
And appeasing imperialist assaults on sovereign nations.
So you can't buy baby formula in the United States, and maybe you think you can do both at once. You can fund Ukraine and get baby formula for American babies. Maybe you can fix inflation and also fund Ukraine. Speak slowly and tell us how that works. Maybe there's an answer to the question, but notice they don't answer. They just accuse the person asking the question of working for Putin. You're working for Putin. You're against democracy. They don't tell us how Ukraine is a democracy. They banned the opposition party. That's a democracy. But maybe there's an answer. What is it? Stop name calling and answer the question. But Jamie Raskin won't do that.
Comics. Oh my gosh. You guys are terrible.
Stop name calling and answer the question.
Yes.
But Jamie Raskin won't do that. None of them will. He screams about Putin. Now, 57 Republicans did vote against last night's bill, and God bless them for doing it. But many more voted for it. Of course, there was Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger, and their friend Elise Stefanik. But there was also Republican leadership, top leadership, McCarthy and Scalise. Shameful. And the worst part is this bill will almost certainly pass in the Senate, which is way more left-wing even than the House on the Republican side. Chuck Schumer is promising a swift vote on it. That means as soon as tomorrow.
Screw him. Chuck Schumer. All of these, we need to just uproot Washington and just throw it in the toilet. Telling you. Oh my gosh. Queenie, really? Your daughter has to drive 45 minutes just to get her 3-month-old's formula? That's freaking
On the Republican side. Chuck Schumer is promising a swift vote on it. That means as soon as tomorrow. So we reached out to every Republican in the Senate to find out what they plan to do. Most of them didn't bother to reply. None of them will come on the show. That would include Mitch McConnell. The minority leader, Ted Cruz, Mike Lee, Chuck Grassley, Mitt Romney also did not respond. We're hoping they'll vote the right way. But a handful of senators did respond, and we want to let you know where they stand. Voting no will be Mike Braun, Roger Marshall, Marsha Blackburn, Bill Hagerty, and Josh Hawley. Rand Paul has also indicated he's opposed to the bill. He wouldn't say so, but of course he's against it. Lindsey Graham, needless to say, is a yes. He is thrilled! As his office put it, Senator Graham has made it clear he supports additional military aid to Ukraine because it makes him feel so good inside.
Fucking Ducker. This... Just, wow. Comics, agreed. Boots to nuts, I agree. That's a good way of putting it, Wolf. The House, the Senate, the devil's waiting room. I like that.
Graham has made it clear he supports additional military aid to Ukraine because it makes him feel so good inside. He didn't say that, but that's the truth. Rob Portman of Ohio is leaving. Thank heaven he's also a yes. So is Steve Daines of Montana. Quote, the senator is leading yes, his office said. They also told us that Daines thinks Russian oligarchs somehow will pay the $40 billion. Quote, he wants to make Russia cover the costs. He wants to use the seized assets of oligarchs to cover the costs. Right, okay. A few senators dodged. Pat Toomey, Tim Scott, Cindy Hyde-Smith all refused to give us a direct answer. We want to invite any Republican senator who plans on voting for this to come on the show and explain why. Please tell us. We'll let you talk as much as you want. We're not going to sandbag you. We want to know why this is in America's interest, why this is more important than the pressing crises all around us that the rest of us notice and apparently you don't. So tell us. You're always welcome. So.
Yep. Unfreaking believable. Unbelievable. It's complete and utter bullshit what's going on. And comics, that's terrible. That really sucks, Queenie. I'm sorry that she's got to deal with that. I really am. All of this that hashtag needs to go because it was bullshit from the start. Me too. That is the one I'm referring to. These are two songs that I really like that I wanted to share with y'all because after listening to all that bullshit, don't you start. Oi, come here. Oh yeah, go the other way. Okay. Well, that, DK, you're exactly right. It's like these people, they sold their soul for power and money, and this is what we all get for it. Misery. Let's get into this.
Will you climb the highest mountain? Will you fight for those who can't? Will you fall?
Her voice is amazing.
Will you stay and take a stand?
Yeah.
Don't be silenced by the lies where you can choose to understand. Oh, we've come too far to see us come again.
They want us lost and scarred. Hate the cops, break the law, and the news tries to say what's right and wrong.
This is... I was not yelling at you, I was talking to Callie. But what Cal just said was the reason why I wanted to put this video here for us to watch. Because it's exactly right.
They want us lost and scarred. Hate the cops, break the law, and the news tries to say what's right and wrong. If you believe that, it's safe to say you probably gone. And I don't wear a mask, why don't you make me put one on? These days, morals and values take a back seat. Underage girls getting paid to shake their ass cheeks.
This whole song and the next one, you guys are going to be like, holy shit. But Shauna agreed. She is a powerhouse. And I absolutely adore her voice. I really do. But these guys, this song, badass.
Take a back seat, underage girls getting paid to shake their ass cheeks. If that was my daughter, you bet she get her ass beaten. I was born tough, so I don't need this vaccine. They try to make us feel like we stand alone. Why you think we keep guns and ammo on standby in our home? Common sense ain't so common. Go on social media, read the comments. I'ma vomit with this nonsense.
Will you climb the highest mountain? Will you fight for those who can't? Will you fold and walk away? Or will you say and take a stand? Don't be silenced by the lights when you can choose to understand. Oh, we've come too far to see us crumbling.
Now, this, I mean, hey, Di, welcome. You and your sliding in sideways. One of these days you're going to fall over and hurt yourself. I just have so much I want to say. Good stuff I want to say about this. The words, her voice, you guys. I mean, listen to her. And wait till you hear Struggle. Holy shit.
I
don't do good with being told that I have to do anything but really think what has really happened to morals and the standards we were taught about. I ought to shout from the highest mountain what I thought about everything that's going on. Children being preyed upon, a righteous path I'm staying on. Reading what they say in songs, I sang a song. God, we need you now has that political. Things we show our kids right now is oh so critical.
He's right. Things we show our kids now is critical. And what they're seeing right now, let's not go down that rabbit hole.
Righteous path I'm staying on. Reading what they say in songs, I sang a song. God, we need you now has that political. Things we show our kids right now is oh so critical. It's pitiful. Pinning us against each other. Guess that is their pinnacle. Tip of the iceberg, sinking ships with their ridicule. Ridiculous, they're infamous for stripping us of innocence, but making innocent victims depend on stimulus.
Making innocent victims depend on stimulus. These wordsmiths, man. I wish I could freaking do what they do.
Stripping us of innocence, but making innocent victims depend on stimulus.
Will you climb the highest mountain? Will you fight for those who can't? Will you fold and walk away? Or will you stay and take a stand? Don't be silenced by the lights when you can choose to understand. Oh, we've come too far to see us crumbling.
Her voice is amazing.
Will you
Whoops.
climb the
Stop. Okay, so I'm glad you liked it. I was wondering if you guys had heard it or not. And this is the one that
After saving with customized car insurance from Liberty Mutual, I
shut up.
customize everything. Like Marco's backpack.
Cool. It never catches the first one. It never catches the first one. But this song, I've got this song on my playlist. I have it on the acoustic version and this version. And it's fucking amazing. And this song, we're listening to we're cool, Queenie. I'm glad. That's one of the things I need to do with this is there's so many people that I listen to that can say and sing so much that I think that they put out. It's just, see, the talking thing. It's pretty good until I get to thinking about something and have to. So I put it on a description for me, is that I want to share the music and the things I watch that I like, because Queenie, dude, I love this one. No joke. But these people basically speak for me because I can't do what they do. So I want to put their voices out there because what they're saying is what I would love to be able to say, but can't put it together like that. So this one will get you. I just hope I don't get copyright claimed again.
Getting crazy, baby, chill. Don't medicate, just meditate. You waking up now, well, baby, you hella late. Educate, look at what's going on, let it resonate, accelerate. Find your inner hunger like you never ate. Agenda is to push the hate, separate and segregate. Don't celebrate quite yet, the storm is coming, Q, for heaven's sake. Violence that they demonstrate, instigate and penetrate. The values of our country and our God is what they desecrate. My fighters ain't no featherweight, pulling out the seams of the fabric that they fabricate. They feed us lies, manipulate, intimidate through fear and force, forcing us to sit and wait.
Forcing us to sit and wait.
They feed us lies, manipulate, intimidate through fear and force, forcing us to sit and wait till we come together, congregate, and then we liberate. Praying that you give me strength to find some love amongst the hate. Marching on these streets of blood till I see the golden gates. Troubadour and troubled souls, one of God's servants. Blades out, cut the grass till we see the serpent. One day I hope you.
Her voice. Oh, her voice is amazing. I just needed to roll it back because her voice, and I haven't gotten this pausing thing down yet, so I have a feeling I'm going to get copyright claimed again. I'm going to have to figure it out, but the words she sings, listen.
Blades out, cut the grass till we see the serpent. One day I hope you see the truth.
This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world.
There's one thing I don't agree with that she sings is God come back home. This isn't God's home. It's not our home. Just saying.
Come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.
I know the truth is hard to swallow. just digest it. Suspected something's going on, but chose to just neglect it. Deflected by some breaking news, oh, we just accept it. Expected just to fall in line and follow their perspective. Don't question their objective, but I got a lot of questions. How these kids molested, but nobody's been arrested.
How is it the kids are molested and no one is arrested?
But I got a lot of questions. How these kids molested, but nobody's been arrested. Read it in the testament, these children are protected. So I'm fighting all these terrorists, both foreign and domestic. Refuse to be directed, lion not a sheep. Only kneel to my God, so I'm dying on my feet. Silence when we speak, but there's violence in the street. I've been rolling with the punches, I can't take it on the cheap. Drink from a glass half full, I'm optimistic. People are sadistic, so vicious and malicious. Praying for assistance to overcome opposition, or I'm gonna start resisting and then I'll pray for forgiveness.
One day I hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh, God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now. We need you now. We need you now.
I love this song.
One day, one day, one day, I hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh, God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.
Oops, wrong one. I've got to get one of those things where I can just hit buttons. We do. We need God so badly right now. We've needed him for 50, 60, 70, 100 years. Everything has just been consistently going down into the shitter. And what are we going to do? What can we do? We can, okay, so we had all of the wonderful, air quotes, wonderful, sarcasm, news that we just heard about this 40 billion. And why are they giving money to another country that, okay, yeah, war is bad. war sucks. But we have problems here. We need to help ourselves before we can help other people. That's just common sense. That's just common sense. I agree, DK. For every inch we gain, sometimes it feels like we lose 3. I would say every inch we gain, we lose like 10 feet. But hey, I just... I agree, Queenie. A lot. Now, not all. Not all America has turned their backs on God, but too much of America has turned their backs on God. And I just... This shit really gets somebody down really, really hard. And the feeling of not tiredness, the feeling of, yes, there will be revolution if we don't have resolution. That's a line that Struggle Jennings has rapped. And it is absolutely freaking right on. And sitting here watching all of this shit happen and only being able to do this, I don't know if I'm helping in any way. I'm able to afford to feed myself and my dogs. That's... No, you're not burying me, Di. It's just really frustrating for someone who I was always with a person that wanted to do something about it. And now I can't physically, but I can this way. And maybe someday somebody will see it and it'll help somebody. The frustration that I feel because I can't do anything and I have to just sit here and watch this shit is just like nails on a chalkboard. And I fucking hate it. Do you really think... Damn it. Do you really think that there's going to be a revolution, Papa? Because I'm going to be honest. The people that want the revolution, I don't think there's enough of us. I don't think there's enough people seeing everything that is wrong because of the folks that are like, that go through life that don't want to look. If they don't look, then it's not happening, like we said earlier. Wow, she's in the other end of the house and this mic is picking that up. Holy shit. Don't you start to. No. You shush. Hey. I've been deserted. Anyway, DK, I agree. Callie, shush. I said Callie quiet, so she barked quieter. A goofball. Woof. Woof. Stop it. DK, you have a point. You have a few of them. Politically politically speaking, that the country has abandoned the very idea of God. And you're right. I think you're right. And having to sit here and watch this shit. Hey, you gonna chill out? Huh? These guys make it a little easier to deal with this helpless feeling of just sitting here and seeing stuff. Oh, Cali fur. But I want to say I agree with the second thing that you said. Pressuring people to accept things that fly directly in the face of human decency and common sense is sickening, and it really is. But it all comes back to, what can we do about it? What can we do? I feel like I'm stuck. I can't do anything. Not here. As far as politically and voting and all that, I don't have a leg to stand on here. Comics, that's a really... No wonder you write such good fucking music. Comics says that we're not the silent majority, we're the silenced majority. And that is 100% dead on. I agree 100%. I do. And I want to believe that, Queenie, but right now, honestly, I don't. I want to believe there's more good, and there's more common sense, and there's more good people out there than there are of the morally corrupt, and there's got to be more. But if there's more, just saying there's more, that doesn't... Oi. It doesn't... If there's more, if they don't do anything, then it's just... I can't get the words aren't coming out. If there's more of us, it doesn't matter if we don't do anything. And if we can't do anything, if we can't get going, if we can't start rolling. I thought things were starting with Donald Trump. Yeah, he's got a big mouth. Yeah, he's freaking New York. He's New York embodied. Or at least he was before everybody turned their backs on him. It's like, oh, wait, no, we don't want Donald Trump as president. No, he's doing things we don't like. No, we don't like Donald Trump anymore. But he got shit done. And that's what we need. We need somebody that's going to get shit done. Somebody like Donald Trump. Somebody like DeSantis. I don't like feeling helpless or useless. So I have to... This is the only way I can feel like I'm contributing in any way, shape, or form. The people that are putting out music, the people that are here supporting me, I really appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much. DK, I've been told too that there's good in everyone, but sometimes you're right. It's damn hard to see it. Not just in some people, but in a lot of people. I've seen more evil. What's the matter? I've seen more evil out of people in my life than I have kindness. And that's not putting down anything. I'm just saying that that's what I've seen. But the kindness that I have experienced and seen made all the... You can wait. Come here. That's his puppy bark. Thanks, Queenie. Thanks, Queenie. I appreciate that. Somebody's throwing a fit because he wants to go OUT. So. I heard you. What? Hey. Come here. He's not going to come here. You're just going to stand there in the doorway and pant? And he's going to screamy Mimi is what I call it. Hey, hey, hey! Alright. His Nibs has called the meeting to be adjourned. Really, dude? Really? Oh, come on. Come here. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Kisses. Yes. Thank you. I just paid the mortgage at their house. Okay, okay. I already took a shower, dude. All right. Really? Guys, I am being told that it is time to let the old man out. All right. Easy with the panting. Easy. I know it's hot in here. I know. And he's panting right at the bottom of the mic. I'm sorry, you guys. But I'm not going to be able to do much of anything else because the screaming Mimi you heard, he will continue. He will continue. He runs this house. When he wants something, because he employs that screaming Mimi bark, I have to do it because if I do, bless you, if I don't, he will continue and continue with the screaming Mimi until I do it. Isn't that right? Isn't that right? What? You want to come here? Come here. Don't hit the mic. Come here. Come here. What's up? That's a boy. Come on. You want to tell everybody? You want to tell everybody why we have to get off? Because it's you? Because you want me to get off? Oh, that's why. That's why. It's 8 o'clock. It's time for his CBD. Aha! Everybody, thank you very much for being here. If you could, please hit the like button on your way out. I appreciate everybody being here, and thank you for your support. And you quit. I'm going. I can't just shut it off. Jeez, come here. Oh. He doesn't get how it works. But you did. Were you able to see his nose? I couldn't tell. He put his paw up like he was going to come up, but then he didn't. All right, I know what you want. You got it. Oh, you guys, he's got these little old man gray eyebrows. They're just freaking perfect. All right, let me finish saying goodbye. Don't bark again, please. Come here. Come here. Oh, allergies. Come here. I gotta go, y'all. Thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you, DK. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's exactly what that just was, Di. Give me my damn CBD, woman. That's what that is. Screaming Mimi. And when he barks, his ears flip back, so now his ears are inside out. I love you all. I love all of you very much. Thank you for supporting me and for being here. And for dealing with listening to that. I get to hear that all the time. You just have to hear it for a little while. All right. The timer has gone off. His Nibs has called an end to the meeting. So would you chill? I better go. Because if I don't... Told you. He will continue. He will continue until I... All right, dude. I think we get the point. We get the point. We get the point. Okay. Thank you all. I love all of you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And Duke does too. Die. Oh, CBD now.